Hello, it's 10 p.m. in Accra, midnight in Cape Town, 1 a.m. in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and 6 a.m. in Shanghai, China. I'm Stephen NT, and this is News at 10. We're broadcasting live from the News Hub at Adisawe Kanda in Accra, and you can follow us on Facebook, TV3GH, and Twitter, News on TV3, and we're streaming live on 3news.com. Let's start with our major news highlights of the day. President Akufo-Addo has repeated calls on the police not to tie their fortunes to political parties. In a speech read for him at the commissioning of the Police Cadet Corps 47 in Accra, the president insisted such behavior undermines the integrity and professionalism of the service and puts the entire nation at risk. The Association of Ghana Industries is to have series of meetings with the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission in an attempt to come out with tariffs that will benefit industries. Chief Executive Officer of AGI said Chum Akwabwa indicated the challenges are not due to the supply of energy, but rather efficiency, and this will help bring down tariffs. The Special Galamsey Task Force Operation Vanguard has so far arrested 1,030 illegal miners since it began operation in August last year. The task force, which is operating in the Ashanti, Eastern, Central and Western regions, has also seized and immobilized some 386 excavators, 933 water pumping machines, 54 motorbikes, 60 vehicles and 3,377 Shangfang platforms. The Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Emmanuel Kofinti, has appealed to income taxpayers and income earners to take advantage of the tax amnesty period to register or re-register with the GRA to avoid prosecution. The 8-month tax amnesty started in January 31st this year. So those are major news highlights. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook.com, TV3GH and 3news.com. Up next is the big one. Welcome back. Now, green pepper farmers at Winneba and Bewazi say they're out of business following attack on their crops by thrips in March of last year. Lucia Yambela has been engaging some of the farmers who say they're mapping out their own strategies and methods of farming to be able to bounce back.
Where I'm standing currently used to be covered with green pepper and tomato plants, but it is not so now. The whole place has been taken over by weeds. This is because of the destruction caused by the thrips.
For close to a year now, green pepper growers in Winneba and its surroundings have been battling with thrips. The insects have destroyed several acres of vegetables, particularly green pepper and tomatoes. The situation was worse during the dry season as farmers could not grow green pepper.
We will need government to help control the thrips because this is where our livelihood depends on.
According to the farmers, All efforts to control the thrips, including directives from the agric officers at the initial stages, yielded no result.
I have about 30 workers I was working with, but as we speak now, it's about 4 people now, because there's a whole lot of problem, and even how to pay them now is very difficult.
The farmers say though government has been helping them with subsidized fertilizer, little attention has been given to the problem at hand.
If we get the price fertilizer cheap with a low cost and we plant and it's not working, I think we are not getting any profit out of it, because we are doing business, and whatever money that we invest, we have to get a profit out of it. But we are investing the money without getting anything. I think it's normally, it's not helping us.
He, however, debunked allegations that they have not been able to control the thrips due to wrong application of chemicals. He added agric officers should be equipped to enable them carry out their duties effectively.
Still on vegetable farmers, some of these farmers in Obohun and communities near Begro in the eastern region say they depend on their own knowledge in applying agrochemicals on their farms. Lucy Ayambila again engaged some of the farmers who say they do not have the slightest idea of the existence of agric extension officers.
This is what the farmers are saying, that they usually go in for the chemicals at the agrochemical shops and then apply them without following precautions. And this is of grave concern to the nation because the consumer's health is at stake.
According to the vegetable growers, extension officers hardly visit the communities, which explains why the farmers do not know the work of the extension officers. It was revealed that sometimes knapsacks are washed in water bodies after spraying, whereas protective cloths are not worn. At a training workshop organized for them by a renowned vegetable farmer in Winneba in the central region, the farmers told TV3 News they even go to the extent of tasting fertilizer solution and other poisonous chemicals to determine the nutrient content.
Because we don't get the required knowledge on the treatment of crops, we usually face problems at the nascent stage.
A green pepper grower, William Esari, raised concern over difficulties assessing support.
1,000. Na me dey ahye me kua adwuma da support me kua adwuma. At the end of the season, me kotua 2,000.
The interest on loans alone deters us from applying. We are pleading with government to shift attention to vegetable farmers.
He also spoke about the havoc thrips caused to vegetable farmers in the area. However, an agronomist, Zachary Musa, carefully took farmers through good and modern farming techniques.
So,
he advised farmers to take precautions in order to preserve and protect the lives of consumers and raised concern on the country's agricultural system.
Most of the fertilizers that we are really providing them are for cereal crops, okay, like maize, and most are they are not for vegetables. And so if you apply that to vegetable, you really reduce your production. So we need the farmers to be trained. We need the input dealers to undergo training. Then we need the MOFA officials to be equipped with what will help them to really educate the farmers to get what really will serve them better.
Right, so let's do some discussion on this issue. We have in the studio a vegetable farmer and executive member of the Green Pepper and Vegetable Growers Association, Jonathan Addo. Nice to be with you again. The concerns you're raising are very, very unfortunate. The one which sticks out in my mind mostly is the one from Begro area, where the farmers say they don't even know how to apply the pesticides and other things well enough. So what are some of the other challenges your association members face apart from this one?
I think, if I may say, the challenges are so high, and sometimes because of some of the farmers are not, well educated, it's very hardly for them to sometimes read, and it makes it difficult for them to know the actual chemical that they are applying. So, well, sometimes when they go to the agrochemist shop, they just take the chemicals and apply it anyhow, and it sometimes very, sometimes affects the crops and human health too.
Health as well.
For instance, we have some of the chemical which is very toxic, and they normally spray it. They don't know the pre-harvest intervals and other things. So some others too loose in terms of chemical application and other things. And the MOFA people, I don't know what to say now.
You mean the Ministry of Food and Agriculture?
Yeah.
They don't come to your aid. You don't see extension officers. You do everything
Sometimes
mostly
they don't come.
by yourself.
Once a
from
while.
the stories we watch.
Yeah.
That's the impression we get.
Yeah, sometimes they don't normally visit the farmers, and sometimes don't blame them, because in my area, for instance, the problem, they always tell me they don't have car. It's only one car.
So your area is Winneba area?
Winneba, for instance, they don't have car. The car they have there is just one car. So just assuming that there's a problem at some place and the car has spoiled, they have a problem. It's very hardly for them to visit the farm. And sometimes being the whole year, you won't see any of the
any extension officer.
Yeah.
So
just,
well, I don't want us to go into those other bits of laying blames, but we've watched the stories, and we have an idea the kind of problems you're facing. So I need you to tell me how your members are coping with the challenge in Winneba, for example, where these pests are actually consuming your crops.
Yeah, this year, I think last year, we encountered such problem, and it's very hardly for it to, get something out of it. And lack of knowledge, sometimes even the actual chemical we need to apply, we don't know. People run at lost. As I was saying, a lot of people, find it so difficult to come into it again. And we take this step. We sometimes, contact some of the agronomists,
So you're basically doing everything on your own, and we're also understanding from some of the stories that some of the interviews we heard that some of your members even taste the pesticides before they apply.
It's true.
That's crude and very dangerous.
Yeah, it's true. The reason why some of them taste this, that's what I said from the initial. Lack of knowledge. Sometimes some of the chemicals has a percentage of toxin, and because of they don't know the measurement. Sometimes they think that when they taste it, it's very good for them to taste it, to know the content.
And I'm worried. Because I reckon that you should have been able to be contacting the Ministry of Agri, the district offices in your various areas to get proper help and assistance. Have you done that before? Have you contacted the officers in the districts before?
Yeah, we sometimes contact them.
And they don't help you?
Sometimes we normally get their help. Sometimes they don't come, because you may sometimes call them, they won't even come. Sometimes too, they just come. Most of the agri officers are my friends.
So you are able to get them to help you, but the other
them.
members are not able to do that. So do you think that there is a future in vegetable growing now that this situation persists?
For now,
the challenge of people not being able to apply pesticides properly, not getting help to deal with the pest in their farms, and losing crop daily and yearly and seasonally. does it still make vegetable growing lucrative enough for you to continue in that business?
No. For now, it's very hardly for us to grow vegetables, because what I can say now, for now, as I was speaking, vegetable has no future now, because last year people ran at loss. As I was saying, people ran at loss, and because of they don't know the actual problem and the actual chemical they're supposed to apply, it has been so difficult for them to get into it again. So just say, let's assume some are into it for almost about 3, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, some 15 years. And just last year, we didn't get anything out of it. Others to get into it just last year. And some people, I mean, go in for loans and they are not able to pay.
So what really do you want? I mean, I get the impression from what you're telling me that you're not getting enough assistance and support from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture through its extension officers and all. But you don't seem to have a strategy in place to seek the help you need, because you're telling me that some of the officers are your friends, so you get the help you need, but you're not doing that for the sake of the group. Get a coordinated approach in going to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture extension officers to get the help you need. Why are you not doing that?
We sometimes call them, sometimes we meet them, and for me, what I normally do is, across the country, I have a lot of friends that are agriculture officers, some are directors and other things. So sometimes I contacted them. But because of this problem, that's this year, the background issue that we're talking about now, last year, immediately we had a problem. I said, no, it's very hardly for me to pick phones to call people online. So we have to try and organize ourselves, just get into association strongly, so that it will be easily for us to mobilize people and support them.
Okay, so you're working on making sure you have a viable association where you can reach the necessary authorities for help.
Yes.
Right, Jonathan, we'll leave it here, but we wish you the best in your endeavors to get help for your people. Jonathan Addo is an executive member of the Green Pepper and Vegetable Growers Association, and you heard the problems that they have there. I'm Stephen Enti. Wherever you are, this is News at 10, and you can follow our live stream on Facebook and on 3news.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, management and staff of Media General Group on Sunday joined Lighthouse Chapel, Kodesh, in Accra to thank God for the successes achieved for the past 2 decades. Group Chief Executive Officer Pearl Isua Mensah says there are plans to implement new strategies to keep the brand and its number #1 spot and reach out to other countries on the continent.
In the midst of the congregation at the Lighthouse Chapel, Kodesh, where management and staff of TV3, Onua FM, 3FM and MG Digital, all subsidiaries of the Media General Group, who had come to thank God of the successes of the media group.
Last year we celebrated 20 years of TV3. In January we celebrated 2 years of 2 of our radio stations, which is Onua FM and 3FM. And I'm just grateful and thankful to God for everything that is in my life, in the life of Media General, and I'm sure that those of us who came to church and even those at home feel the same.
Bishop of Kodesh, Bishop Eddie Fabin, in his sermon delivered from Jeremiah chapter 1 verses 11, charged the group to focus on the future and make it better than its current successes.
The Lord said in verse 12 of that same scripture, it says that you have seen well, I will watch over my word to perform it. So what do you see? The sky is the limit. And somebody said heaven is the limit. You can see, if you can see as far as you can see.
3FM 92.7 was launched in January 2016 with the aim of transforming the airwaves with unbiased, innovative, creative and other developmental programs to the public. Though young in the media industry, it has some awards to its credit.
We came on the scene when the radio industry in Ghana was and is still quite competitive, and it means that we had to work extra harder to own our space, and I think we've done that very well with the help of God and the listeners. We hope that the coming years will be more profitable and will increase in numbers and territory.
We can only be grateful to God. I think it's been a wonderful 2 years, particularly for radio. We've done well, we've come in, and the evidence is there for all to see. There are many stations that have come in and have not been able to survive it. We've done our best, we've survived it, we've run campaigns that have been successful. For instance, we've done a Let There Be Light campaign, which many people patronized and made donations.
The Akan-speaking radio station, which was also launched in January 2016, has made a positive impact in society, and workers are grateful to God for the strength.
Thanks to God for having brought us this far, and we also want to say thanks to the board, the management, the staff, and most importantly, the clients, as well as all the other people who have made it possible for UNIA to come this far.
Whilst thanking God here at Kadesh with a Thanksgiving service, particularly, we owe you, the listeners, a lot. And all we can say is, in fact, keep listening and tune in every time, any day, and be part of our programming. Without you, we can't do it.
Right, and the Special Galamsey Task Force Operation Vanguard has so far arrested 1,030 illegal miners since it began operation in August last year. The task force, which is operating in the Ashanti, Eastern, Central and Western regions, has also seized and immobilized some 386 excavators, 933 water pumping machines, 54 motorbikes, 60 vehicles and 3,377 chanfan platforms.
The illegal mining task force operate in two groups, mainly in the Ashanti, Eastern, Central and Western regions. Group 1 is in charge of the Ofin River, whilst Group 2 concentrates on the Pra River. Their targets are illegal miners using dredging platforms Chanfar. In collaboration with the National Small-Scale Miners, the task force last week arrested 3 suspected illegal miners in the Central region. More than 1,000 Chanfan platforms have also been immobilized. The suspects were handed over to the Dunkwa police for further investigations. This brings to 1,030 the number of illegal miners so far arrested in the last 6 months. A total of 386 excavators, 933 water pumping machines, 54 motorbikes, 60 vehicles and 3,377 Chanfan platforms were also seized and immobilized. 87 small arms and 1,382 ammunition were also seized from illegal miners. President Akufo-Addo, in his State of the Nation address, called on the public to assist the task force to achieve the ultimate goal. He maintained feeding the task force with information on illegal mining activities is enough to ensure a safe tomorrow.
And over the years, the construction of schools have been considered to be the sole preserve of government. A 65-year-old farmer and lecturer, Dr. Augustine Awuni, has on his own initiative constructed classroom blocks at Pwalugu in the Upper East region to improve the quality of education of pupils. This report is by Larry Parkwesi Moses.
Teachers and pupils of Pwalugu Primary School have had to learn under very harsh conditions. Their school had no roof over their heads and desks to write on. Lessons were conducted on the floor and in harsh weather conditions. After several failed attempts at getting assistance, Dr. Augustine Awuni, a native of Pwalugu, financed the construction of a 6-unit primary school block with support from a Japanese philanthropist.
This place has no government school. The last government school died in 1996. And all these structures that you see behind me are the work of one man with a will and a community with a zeal to carry it out. So for me, the way forward now is I have pleaded with a member of parliament. I've also pleaded with some people. We need one of these community senior high schools.
An 8-unit residential block housing teachers was also built. A 3-unit classroom block is also under construction for the Pwalugu Kindergarten School. The head teacher of the kindergarten is Comfort Abukari.
We have only got one structure, and that is one classroom. But the rest of the classrooms are under trees. For that matter, whenever there are rains or storm, we gather all the children in the one classroom that is being built by the community.
Currently, there's no senior high school in the area to absorb junior high school graduates.
If we have the community senior high schools, it will help out these boys here, or these children, from going to Boku, Nalergu, Navrongo, Sandema, because if there's a higher institution, that will give them the motivation. Without that, most of them get pregnant.
And popular musician Shatta Wale is extremely angry at a pastor who prophesied that he will die before December. In a Facebook Live video, the hitmaker cautioned he, along with his militants, will burn their churches if he's still alive by December. Osuarai reports.
News of men of God prophesying doom for public figures emerge by the day. A video of a pastor prophesying the death of dancehall diva Ebony Rains emerged hours after her death. Dancehall star Shatta Wale is at the center of the latest death prophecy. The Them Confused composer gave a hint on one of such prophecies in a Facebook post on February 10. He screenshot a news item captioned, "Shatta Wale and Kwabna Kwabna are agents of the devil. They will die like Ebony." Minutes later, the multi-award-winning musician shared another prophecy captioned, "Ghana should pray. I see another morning again, and this time it's singer Shatta Wale, and it's very close." The dancehall star thinks the prophecies are not from God, tagging the pastors as fake. Whilst asking such men of God to be circumspect, the angry musician said all such men who wish him dead will face his wrath if he is still alive by December.
Right now, this is some scripture, this is some pastor say, me I go die. Me I no be like that too. Me I no be better like that too. You see, if we catch December, and I give this long notice, because I want to make the whole Ghana see something. You see Shatta Wale Day here, if you catch December, we are there. Me and the Shatta movement, unless the president come beg we go burn churches. You people can do the one inside, you want live flashy, you want show we flashy life. We'll show you who flashy is. God is flashy. And we'll show you that when you're a servant, you don't live like one. You don't live like they can do business and things. Me make people take me out too.
Right, something for us to smile and giggle about. Shatta for life. Anyway, I'm Stephen Antia. We're grateful for making time with us. This has been News at 10. On behalf of the crew, good night, and there is more news at 3news.com.